You're lying on a stone slab in the royal bedchamber, and the physician approaching you isn't holding medicine. He's holding a red-hot poker, still glowing from the forge, and behind him stands a line of courtiers who've gathered not to help, but to watch. Welcome to your death by royal childbirth, where being born into the wrong century means your body belongs to the state, your agony is entertainment, and your screams are just background music to political intrigue. Congratulations, you're a medieval queen, which sounds glamorous until you realize the crown on your head is really just a target. And the most dangerous thing you'll ever do isn't warfare or poison, it's trying to produce an heir. Because in the 14th century, pregnancy isn't 9 months of glowing maternal bliss, it's a slow march toward a blood-soaked finale that makes modern horror films look like children's programming. Your value as a woman, as a person, as a breathing human being, boils down to one simple question. Can you birth a son? Not a daughter, because daughters are disappointments wrapped in expensive christening gowns. Not a stillborn, because that's God's way of saying you're cursed. And definitely not yourself surviving without producing that golden boy, because a living queen without an heir is just an expensive waste of castle space. From the moment you miss your monthly blood, the nightmare begins. Privacy evaporates like morning mist because your womb is now a matter of national security. Ladies in waiting monitor your every move, your every meal, your every trip to the privy. They examine your urine's color, they smell your breath, they watch your belly like hawks studying prey. When you vomit from morning sickness, they don't offer comfort. They debate whether it means you're carrying a boy or girl, as if your suffering is just a parlor game for their amusement. The food you're forced to eat would make a prisoner weep. They feed you cooling foods to balance your humors, whatever the hell that means. Lettuce until you're retching. Barley water that tastes like liquid despair. No spices, no flavor, nothing that might overheat the baby, as if your child is a roast that might burn if you season it wrong. Meanwhile, you're starving for real food, your body screaming for nourishment. But the physicians assure everyone that your cravings are demonic temptations that must be ignored. They bleed you regularly because apparently you've got too much blood, which is rich considering you're about to lose buckets of it. They make tiny cuts in your arm and drain you into bowls while explaining that this will make the birth easier, smoother, safer. You feel weaker with each session, your vision swimming, your hands trembling, but they smile and nod like they're doing you a favor. As your belly swells, the superstitions multiply like rats in a granary. You're not allowed to look at ugly people because it might mark the baby. You can't witness a hanging because the trauma could cause a miscarriage. You're forbidden from raising your arms above your head because obviously that's how you accidentally strangle the fetus with its own cord, according to medical wisdom that wouldn't pass a basic anatomy exam. They tie amulets around your neck, disgusting little pouches filled with dried herbs, saints' bones, and occasionally human teeth, because nothing says healthy pregnancy like wearing corpse fragments as jewelry. Prayers are muttered over you constantly, not for your safety but for the baby's legitimacy, because even though you're married, even though the king visits your bed regularly, there's always that whisper, that doubt, that maybe you're carrying some guard's bastard instead of royal blood. Women have been executed for less, their heads rolling because some midwife decided the baby looked too much like the stable boy. When labor finally starts, you're not taken to a hospital or even a clean room. You're sequestered in a birthing chamber that's been sealed against fresh air because medieval medicine believes fresh air carries disease. They stuff every crack, every window, every door gap with cloth until the room becomes a suffocating tomb that reeks of sweat, fear, and the herbs they're burning in corners to ward off evil spirits. The darkness is intentional, the heat unbearable, and you're already struggling to breathe before the real pain even starts. The midwives arrive, a coven of women whose qualifications include being old, having birthed children themselves, and absolutely zero medical training. They poke at you with unwashed hands, hands that delivered the butcher's wife yesterday and the baker's daughter this morning. Hands crawling with bacteria that science won't identify for another 5 centuries. They examine you by shoving their entire fist inside, checking dilation like they're testing if bread dough has risen enough, and your screams don't matter because screaming is expected, encouraged even, as it opens the womb. The pain is unlike anything you imagined, and you imagined plenty because every woman in the castle has horror stories they share in whispers. But hearing about it and experiencing it are different universes. Your body tears itself apart from the inside. Contractions that feel like your spine is being twisted by invisible hands, waves of agony that make you vomit, shit yourself, and pray for death simultaneously. The midwives don't offer comfort. They offer criticism. Push harder. Stop screaming so much. You're being dramatic. Meanwhile, they're feeding you birthing potions made from crushed insects, powdered gemstones, and wine that's probably gone sour. Concoctions that do absolutely nothing except make you hallucinate while your body destroys itself. Hours pass, then more hours. Medieval labor isn't a quick affair because nobody knows what they're doing. There's no understanding of fetal positioning, no concept of medical intervention beyond prayer and violence. If the baby's stuck, they don't perform a cesarean to save you. Cesareans are only done on corpses to save the baby and baptize it before it dies too. Instead, they start pulling. They hook instruments into you, medieval forceps that look more like torture devices than medical tools, metal claws that grip whatever they can reach, baby's head, your flesh, doesn't matter, and they yank with the strength of farmers hauling stubborn livestock. When you beg them to stop, they ignore you because your pain is irrelevant. When you beg for your mother, they laugh because sentiment is weakness. When you scream that something's wrong, that you can feel yourself dying, they tell you that's normal. That's childbirth. That's what women endure. Except it's not normal. You're hemorrhaging. Blood pooling beneath you faster than they can stuff rags between your legs. Your vision darkening at the edges as your life drains away in crimson rivers. But the baby isn't out yet, so they keep going, keep pulling, keep ignoring your increasingly weak protests. And the pain transcends description, becomes something spiritual, a religious experience of suffering that makes crucifixion look merciful. Finally, after what feels like centuries compressed into endless hours, something shifts. The baby crowns, that medieval euphemism for your body splitting open like overripe fruit, flesh tearing in ways that won't heal right, that will leave you incontinent and in chronic pain for whatever short life you have left. They pull the baby out in a gush of blood and fluid, and for one brief moment there's silence, then crying. The baby's alive, but you're not doing so well. The bleeding won't stop. They're packing you with cloths, with moss, with whatever they can grab, but it's not enough. Your body's given up, shock setting in as your temperature drops and your lips turn blue. The physician finally arrives, not to save you, but to record your death. He examines the baby first, checking for deformities, counting fingers and toes, because the heir's health matters more than yours ever did. When he finally looks at you, his expression says everything. You're dying, and there's nothing he can do. Nothing he would do even if he could, because you've served your purpose. You produced an heir. Your value is exhausted. They'll baptize the baby immediately, a rushed ceremony while you're still bleeding out in the background because God forbid the child dies without salvation. Nobody's rushing to give you last rites. Those can wait until you're actually dead, which shouldn't be long now based on how cold you feel, how distant their voices sound, how the ceiling seems to be rotating slowly above you. You want to hold your baby, but your arms won't move. You want to tell someone that you're scared, but your tongue is thick and useless. You want to curse them all. Curse the king who put you here. Curse the midwives who butchered you. Curse the system that treated your body like a disposable incubator, but you can't even whimper anymore. The last thing you hear before darkness takes you isn't comfort or love or prayer. It's political discussion. Already they're debating whether the king should remarry immediately, whether your family will demand compensation for your death. Whether the baby's legitimacy might be questioned since you died so quickly afterward, as if suspicious timing could somehow make the blood coating everyone's hands turn into adultery evidence. Your death will be recorded as childbed fever, which is medieval code for, "We have no idea what killed her, but it definitely wasn't our fault." They'll bury you quickly before the body starts to rot and smell up the castle. There won't be a grand funeral because you're not that important. Not anymore. Not now that you're just a corpse instead of a womb. Some priest will mutter Latin over your grave, and within a week, within days really, the king will be eyeing younger women, fresher wombs, new potential mothers for the inevitable second son he'll demand. Your baby, if it survives, will be raised by wet nurses and tutors who never mention you. Your name will appear in genealogies as a footnote. A vessel that successfully delivered then conveniently died. And the sickest part, the truly grotesque cherry on this nightmare Sunday, is that thousands of women will follow you into that same blood-soaked chamber generation after generation, dying the same preventable death because medieval medicine values theory over life and male heirs over female survival. But hey, at least you fulfilled your royal duty. At least you gave them their precious son. At least your suffering had purpose, even if that purpose was just being a medieval incubator that self-destructed on schedule. Congratulations! Your legacy is bleeding out on dirty sheets while men argue politics over your dying body, which is exactly what being a medieval queen was always going to be. Not power, not prestige, just pain wrapped in silk and called duty.